You're probably thinking, oh, the Arkham universe Flash isn't that strong. Why are you making a video on him? Well, hear me out for a second. He's actually stronger than you think from first glance. It looks like he's not all that strong because the first fight we seen him in fighting Green Lantern, somebody that's also pretty powerful, but Green Lantern was possessed here by Brainiac. One could argue, yeah, let me get to it in a second. One could argue that Green Lantern is kind of amped because of this Brainiac crap, but without analyzing it further, it makes these scenes make it look like Green Lantern is just way stronger than Flash. Because in this particular situation, the Flash wasn't necessarily possessed yet, but Green Lantern was, and when these two fought, it seemed like the Flash was strong enough to hit and hurt his construct at least, but it did seem like, you see the twister he made, it seemed like Green Lantern got the edge over him still when he was possessed like this. It was even narrated Flash got his butt beat here. Like you see here, he's not even possessed, but he's extremely hurt from Green Lantern, so it looks like Green Lantern just curb stomped him. Like I'm talking about he was not able to move at all. Like the bad guys were just taunting him, he couldn't fight back. You're probably thinking, what if Green Lantern's just way stronger than him in this universe? Well, I would have thought the same. There's implications that Green Lantern could have been amped, but this is just my theory though, but hear me out. There was like these secret files when the League was talking about Brainiac and stuff. We get more lore on the Leaguers and such. Brainiac talks about unlocking beings' full potential when they integrate with him. Apparently, one could argue this could mean he could be amping up the Leaguers that's possessed by him. They say the word enhanced. Stronger than he normally would be, right? Unlock your full potential and such. What other evidence do I have that could argue, make them, the reason why these possessed Leaguers were so strong? Superman 2 is because it's pretty much confirmed in the game's lore that changes happen to the Leaguers thanks to Brainiac all the way down to their DNA. I let them say it.
It should have killed him, and it didn't.
The consequences of corruption have created changes in Superman down to his DNA. Similar changes likely impacted the rest of the League.
Since when can you stab Kryptonite in the chest of Superman? It hurt him here, but since when can he still have enough energy to actually murk somebody as strong as Wonder Woman after getting stabbed like this with Kryptonite? Yeah, it's implied Brainiac might have amped him. Matter of fact, when it comes to Brainiac amp Superman, even gold Kryptonite, yep. If you're not familiar with gold kryptonite in the comic lore, apparently in the comics, I don't know if this game universe is going by this, but apparently something like gold kryptonite that removes Superman's powers permanently still wasn't enough to remove this Brainiac, Superman's powers away permanently in this game's universe. That's right, you heard that correctly. Something that would usually, in the old comics or whatever, that would usually get rid of Superman's powers permanently in this game. Yes, gold kryptonite. In this universe will apparently only dampen his abilities. Isn't it supposed to remove it permanently? But this is more evidence it could be amped. So yeah, Flash losing the Green Lantern when he might be possibly amped is not really a disrespect, really. It's just that Green Lantern is just powered up more than ever. Flash wasn't. So hopefully before I even get anything started, this can kind of give you some more respect on Flash. He's not as weak as you think just because he got curb stomped by Green Lantern. It's more context than you think. It's implied the Leaguers were amped up. Not to mention, when it comes to Flash in general, the Suicide Squad themselves had to come up with tech, one can say prep time, to even be able to counter Flash's speed. It was basically anti-Speed Force tech to stop Flash from just straight up speed blitzing you. So that's really how these 4 Suicide Squad members even stood a chance, because of devices, anti-Speed Force devices like this, for example, because otherwise he would just blitz them. Stuff like this can counter him. I mean, they even talked about it. They had to get like this Speed Force piece of gear that disrupts Flash's connection to the Speed Force to even have a chance against the Flash in this game's universe. Matter of fact, even in the lore of the game, even with the anti-Speed Force technology, like Amanda Waller and them actually ran simulations on their chances of actually beating the Flash, and their chances was extremely slim. The results was they was below potential, and based on the simulations, apparently they lost 573 times. They only won twice out of all those freaking fights, so it lets you know there's slim chance of winning against the Flash. Their chances being less than 1%. But what do you think? The Arkham universe recently got explored more, basically because of the new game that just released. You know, the game Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, the game where you gotta play as the Suicide Squad to take on the Justice League. It's a game about Brainiac destroying the minds of our favorite heroes to help him make the Earth into a new Kolu, his home planet, with the help of his Justice League being mind controlled and stuff. And since I know it, pretty much everybody and their mother loves speed, the Flash is one of those beings that got possessed. At first he wasn't possessed, but then he became possessed by Brainiac eventually. And boy, is he like on some horror movie type status. Like, he's a version of Flash. Oh, by the way, this is a Barry Allen version of the Flash, of this Arkham Batman universe. But it's the same stuff that you're used to when it comes to the Flash, when it comes to the Speed Force. I'll let them explain it for me. I mean, there's a chance that this Flash that the Suicide Squad fought might not be the real one. It could be a clone. Who knows? It could be the real one that's really possessed. But this video could age like milk, so I'm just giving you that warning, because they are coming out with a whole bunch of content for this game, so a lot of things could change. But in this universe, the same stuff that we know of as the Flash, he still has his arch nemesis known as Reverse Flash. We know he fought in the lore, off screen, of course. But I'll let them explain Flash's powers and abilities in his lore real quick.
I know I've been called the fastest man alive, and sure, it's true. I can draw energy from an interdimensional power source called the Speed Force. The Speed Force. It's like the universe's biggest supercharged battery, and it never runs out. With the Speed Force, I can do a lot more than just run fast. I can whip up a cyclone.
I mean, we actually seen him do a vortex here against Green Lantern.
I can vibrate my body's molecules so fast I disappear.
We actually seen the Flash do this in game with him vibrating so fast he's invisible, even while battle damage.
It's also good for getting out of tough spots. You move as fast as I do. You've got to make sure your gear can keep up. Built to withstand the Speed Force, it absorbs and redistributes kinetic energy as I run.
I mean, you just literally heard him explain how his powers work. One could argue like he could just do energy projection with his Speed Force powers, or this could be him redirecting the energy that his suit absorbs from his running in this particular situation. Flash's statements when he's possessed implies that he can blast with electricity, blast power type stuff. Like I'm talking about, it literally looks like Flash is doing his own Kamehameha blast, like on some Dragon Ball stuff. Yeah, evil Flash is a menace. See, here's the thing about the Flash in general. This universe is no exception. When it comes to how strong the Flash is, he's not one of the characters that's strong in your conventional sense. When you think of strength, you usually think about somebody whose muscles can lift a lot of weight, right? Like somebody with a lot of muscle strength, like somebody like Superman that can lift an incredible amount of weight. That's what you think of, right? See, the thing about Flash, I know this isn't the comic book version of the Flash, this is the video game version or Arkham Universe version of Flash, but the same concept kind of applies. Like Flash is strong for a different reason, being that he can punch really hard because of his super incredible speed. I mean, if we went off how strong the Flash is when it comes to his muscles, he wouldn't even really be considered a powerhouse. It's his speed that makes him a powerhouse. He can punch ridiculously hard, simply because he can just punch you with an incredible amount of speed. This is why in canon comics, not the Arkham universe, like for example, this right here is the Arkham universe back here, but it's kind of the same concept for this game on why his punches can hurt. Powerhouses like Wonder Woman in the comics that we're used to is because of his speed, because he can punch beings at ridiculous speeds. Yeah, it's quite obvious he can use his speed in combat in the video game too to punch hard. That's obvious. A good example of him being strong because of speed, not necessarily muscle. We all can agree that Wonder Woman's got him in straight muscle strength. But thanks to his raw speed, he's able to shake himself. You know, when he's possessed by Brainiac, he's able to shake himself out of the lasso with power and speed. Since we know any universe really, when it comes to Barry Allen Flash, big part on why he can hit hard and why he's strong is his speed. You can get some bare minimum on his raw speed in this game when it comes to how fast he can run. I mean, part of it is you can look at other characters' speed in the game and just assume that he's faster. Part of it is these Argus tapes that pretty much tell more about the lore. It pretty much confirms that the Flash can break the sound barrier at the very least, so we know he's at least as fast as the speed of sound, or even above the speed of sound as a bare minimum. Like, you see how this gun and this bullet was this close to Harley Quinn. He's this fast. Even while battle damage, you can get an idea of his raw speed, for example. He was able to outrun the bullet and push the bullet somewhere else, might I add, while he's extremely battle damaged and hurt from Green Lantern and such. Like, he can't even stand up on his own. That's how battle damaged he is from the fight with Green Lantern when he's apparently amped up, maybe, possibly. So as a bare minimum, we know he's at least faster than the speed of sound in this Arkham universe when it comes to running speed and his fighting speed, reflexes and everything, etc. Because we see his reflexes in action when he's actually possessed and, you know, stuff that he should be able to do even if he's not possessed. Like, he's constantly in range of bullets and snipers and such. Even when he's not necessarily looking in the direction of the bullet, he still can dodge it to show his raw speed. Even when they're this close, you just can't hit him. We actually seen occasions like this with Green Lantern and the Flash. He's actually able to deflect attacks from Green Lantern. Here, for example, there's moments where we see absurd speed blitzing to the point where nobody right here could see him actually move. This kind of lets you know how scary the Flash would be if he was bloodlusted. He blitzed Lex Luthor's heart out that fast before he even knew what happened. That's what you call a speed blitz. Yeah, he literally has his heart. Evil Flash is scary. I mean, another good example of how hard he can just straight up hit with his speed on top of it is how Lex is in his super armor and Flash just hit him so hard, grabbed him out of his armor that fast, like raw punching power to rip him out of his own armor. That's the level of speed and power he can put out with his hits. And you guys might not know this, but Captain Boomerang in this game universe has like a Speed Force gauntlet, so he can do short bursts of super speed, like a speedster is type of thing. And even he's still not faster than Flash. When they tried to race to this device, the Flash was able to grab it first because he's still superior, even though Boomerang's a speedster too. There's implications in this universe that with his actual full-blown superpowers, he's faster than lightning itself because not only the fastest man alive, just like what we're used to in main continuity, him and Superman have like a little speed race rivalry going on. Superman disagrees about him being the fastest man alive because Superman was poking fun at him. Like, because you know how Flash got his powers by getting struck by lightning. Superman, in this universe, him and Flash apparently poke fun at each other. Superman apparently was roasting him, talking about he can outrun the lightning bolt in his lab or whatever, which is an unfair argument because he didn't have his powers yet, and he's poking fun at him not being able to outrun lightning. But there's implications that Superman, or one could say since Flash is faster than Superman consider lightning bolts slow to them, like to where you're picking at somebody to not be able to outrun a lightning bolt. Wouldn't that imply that lightning bolts are slow compared to his standards of speed? Being actually as fast as lightning bolts would pretty much give us a bare minimum confirmation of his speed, of the Flash of this universe being bare minimally be able to move 200,000 miles per hour. Like, I know Harley Quinn has no idea how fast the Flash is, but statements like this seem pretty legit if you know anything about Flash in the comics, about him being 1,000,000 miles per hour. I know Harley Quinn is just talking crap and she don't really know his real speed, but this is totally possible if you know the Flash. Do you think this version of Barry Allen or the Flash can run 1,000,000 miles per hour? I think it's definitely possible. The limits of this universe version of Flash's speed, I don't think his limits have been explored, but I do think there's a chance he could be faster than the speed of light or even faster, based on a little nitbit lore we got in the game lore for him. We know Green Lanterns have a history of being space police and they fly through space. To be able to get anywhere in space, you have to be ridiculously faster than the speed of light, or you won't be able to get nowhere in your lifetime. And you know where I'm going with this. The Flash, in this universe, he's the fastest man alive. Like stated in this video, just like what we're used to, he's faster than even Green Lanterns. This alone should technically prove he should be at least light speed as a bare minimum just from this. Because in the files talking about the lore of the Flash and Green Lantern's relationship, they have an interesting relationship. They're cool with each other. And apparently they race. Like, we haven't seen Green Lanterns in the universe do space travel, but I'm about 95% sure if we was to see him fly through space, he'll be able to fly through planet to planet. Light speed travel Green Lantern more than likely has for him to be a space cop. I mean, you guys know I'm not a fan of assumptions, but it's the same stuff we're used to seeing in comic lore applies to the game. Planet from Oa that's far away out of the solar system. There's implications that this universe, John Stewart has met the Guardians in that faraway planet, and there's Green Lanterns picked from all over the universe. They're intergalactic policemen. So there's a good chance if him and Flash was to race on a racetrack in space and Green Lantern flew at his fastest speed, there's a great chance Flash is going to be faster because he's the fastest man alive. Like, it's literally confirmed he's the fastest man alive, and Green Lantern is a man that's alive. You do the math. If Green Lantern can fly through space at crazy speed, whatever speed Green Lantern can achieve, the Flash, from default in this universe, Barry Allen should be able to do better in raw speed. This would not only make him light speed, but this would technically make him way faster than the speed of light, if we're being technical. Green Lantern himself even stated he's fast. John Stewart stated it, he's fast. And in the lore, it's pretty much confirmed that Green Lantern can patrol an entire sector. You know, Green Lanterns patrol an entire sector of the universe because it's their duty. A sector of the universe is a big chunk of a galaxy or multiple galaxies and stuff like that. For you to fly, patrol it, you gotta be faster than the speed of light, which automatically makes Flash faster than the speed of light because he's faster. If this video game universe is anything like the sectors we know in comics, yeah, each lantern protects a certain sector. It's almost like if a lantern exists in a universe and Flash is in that universe, we can automatically assume a Flash is faster, especially the main Flash if it's Barry or Wally. That's something DC always does. But enough of that speed stuff. How hard can Flash hit? You know, he can hit hard, because we actually seen him unamped fight a Green Lantern. And Green Lantern's constructs, yeah, he can make super large constructs like the size of buildings. He made his literal own fort. Like, I'm talking about he can make giant building-sized constructs that are just straight up green and fight you with his giant construct at the same time. I mean, if I'm being honest, look at the size of these constructs like that Green Lantern can make. These junks are probably he probably can make Green Lantern constructs the size of mountains if we're being honest. I mean, look at the size of these forts that Green Lantern can make, right? So these constructs are not only big, but they're dense and durable. You're probably wondering why am I bringing this up? Because this is like a bare minimum. Like missiles, like multiple missiles couldn't get through this Brainiac, the shield around Brainiac's skull ship. Like missiles that can destroy buildings, obviously. Like this isn't necessarily John Stewart Green Lantern, but just to give you an idea of Green Lantern's power in general, King Shark became Green Lantern. Yeah, don't ask. But yeah, just to give you an idea of how strong these constructs are, just Green Lanterns, I guess this could be a small way to understand its power. That's shield that we saw withstanding missiles that can blow away buildings, obviously, it's a bare minimum. Green Lantern constructs are actually strong enough in this game's universe. Yeah, the Green Lantern construct can crack through this shield. You're probably wondering why is this relevant? Because the Flash, even without being possessed by Brainiac, with his speed, his punches are heavier, they are strong enough. Like we see him punch Green Lantern here, for example. This is when he's not possessed. This shows how hard the Flash can hit or just strike in general. He used his speed against Green Lantern, and hit him so hard to where he broke his construct. Here, let them free. Like, this is the occasion he actually lost. You still got to pay attention that this big construct, these constructs are very durable, depending on Green Lantern's will, of course. He used his Speed Force powers to make his own little vortex and use a strike to break his construct here. I think a fair bare minimum would be to say, since he can break Green Lantern constructs based on how durable the Green Lantern constructs are and what they can do when it comes to destructive power, the fact he can break them even if he lost, even in his base state, he should technically be able to break down buildings with his punches if he just wanted to be destructive. I think that's a fair bare minimum. Would you agree on how hard he can hit? Another good example of how hard he can hit is how he basically just soloed the Suicide Squad and they stood no chance in their first fight before they got their hands on a new anti-Speed Force piece of gear. Like, I'm talking about all four of them, King Shark, Deadshot, Boomerang, even though he has Speed Force stuff, and Harley Quinn, all of them literally got soloed here. It was one of those boss battles where you cannot win no matter what, so it was actually a part of the lore that he can literally solo them with his raw speed and make a gigantic vortex. Like, you probably think, oh, it's just a game mechanic. No, this is an actual story scene where it was an impossible win. He took out all four of them, and they was like pretty much defeated thanks to his raw speed, making a doggone thunderstorm within the tornado. Until Wonder Woman showed up to stop it, you see the shockwave behind the hit. Like, don't judge me, but I'm pretty sure him using his speed if he wanted to, making crazy vortexes this wide on a building, if he was really trying to destroy a building, he would be able to. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if he spammed multiple tornadoes, like even larger ones if he wanted to. I mean, obviously this is not something he would do, but yeah, he could definitely tear apart a few city blocks if he decided to do some crazy tornadoes with his speed, with the Speed Force and such. There's really a lot to explore with this universe version of the Flash, or just Justice League in general, but one way you can get an idea of his strength is to look at the other leaguers. Like, for example, Superman. I'm not necessarily saying his punches are necessarily equal to Superman, but that's something to think about. That, according to these Argus tapes and lore, that Batman of this universe believes Superman is actually strong enough to carry an entire planet on his shoulders. That can give you somewhat an idea of the powerhouses if they're somewhere in his ballpark. But let's just go back real quick. If we assume that the Flash is faster than Green Lantern, and if we assume, we ain't seen him do it yet, but I'm pretty sure he can do it. If we assume that Green Lantern can actually fly through space at massively faster than the speed of light speeds, imagine if the Flash punches you, like, let's say under the speed of light, for example. Like, I'm gonna be lenient. Let's say the Flash can run at you at 99% the speed of light, not even speed of light or nothing, just being nice. I mean, there's literal YouTube videos you can Google. What if a needle hit the Earth 99% the speed of light? If we assume the Flash can at least go like right under light speed, he would be able to cause crazy destruction with his punching power and such. This can give you somewhat an idea of how hard he can hit. Being disrespectful, and I'm being generous at this point. His hit would basically feel like a bare minimum of a nuclear explosion. Like, think about this for a second. This is a needle. Like, the Flash is way bigger than a needle. Imagine somebody, a full-size fist coming at you at 99% the speed of light. The speed of his punches would easily generate enough energy to feel like a nuclear bomb or the equivalent of a nuke, the power needed to tremble, quake, or just sink an entire city with his raw energy of his punches. Like, that's our bare minimum being disrespectful. These Justice League characters only got one game worth of content, and it's already showing promising for the future if they get more games or more downloadable content to show off their power even more. But if you want to analyze them even further, of him possibly being even way faster than the speed of light, that would significantly increase his punching power if he hits you faster than the speed of light. Because just the thought of a Green Lantern not being faster than light just makes me cringe. He just has to be. You know, him and Flash be racing. Stated here in the lore and the files, they actually race. Him being faster than him. You guys technically know the science of anything that achieves the speed of light would technically have infinite mass. So imagine the Flash's hits. Like, we can only theorize on how hard he can actually hit. Like, yeah, this version of Flash will be scary if we assume he can actually run and hit you with faster than Green Lantern's top flight speed. It's too bad we didn't get to really see this universe version of Flash fight Reverse Flash. We know what happened off screen, and we know the Flash has fought beings. It's pretty much confirmed that he has fought Gorilla Grodd in his universe, so he's got his fair share of foes he's fought. How hard do you think the Flash can hit? I mean, the Flash even explained that the Speed Force is like the universe's biggest supercharged battery, and he stated it never runs out, which sounds consistent to what the Speed Force we're used to. The Speed Force is endless energy that gives speedsters across the multiverse their speed. Like, the game itself never brought up this map, but this is a map I brought up in multiple DC videos. Yeah, this can kind of apply to this one, it seems, when it comes to the Speed Force being endless. So it seems like the game is on the right track with the Speed Force existing omnipresently across all of the dimensions at the same time, applying all speedsters of their speed. The Speed Force wall, this seems to be accurate when it comes to being an endless power, because it really is endless. Matter of fact, wouldn't it be cool to see this universe's, or this multiverse's version of Wally West Flash? You know, the one we played in this video was Barry. But thanks to the multiverse, we know Wally West exists in the Earth 2 universe, a different universe than the main one, but within the same multiverse, the Arkham multiverse, right? What do you guys think? How strong do you think Barry is? A lot of this stuff is probably going to get retconned or outdated because the game is going to be coming out with content. This video is probably going to age like milk. You know, I'm just giving y'all a heads up with that. They're going to be constantly coming out with new updates, adding more lore and feats. Who knows what they might add? But what do you guys think? For all we know, his super speed force punches could be already as heavy as the moon, or his punches would feel like the equivalent of a moon falling on you for all we know already. But what do you think? Before I get going though, respect Arkham Flash. Even though he might seem weak at times, he's a lot stronger than you thought, and there's going to be more lore to add to him. Respect his speed. Thanks for the donations, everybody. It helps out a lot. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.